Have you been pouring your heart into this connection, feeling exhausted by the silence, the distance, the uncertainty? Do you find yourself constantly thinking about your divine masculine, sending love, healing, prayers, hoping he'll wake up and return? Yet, no matter how much energy you offer, he seems to slip further away. You're not alone in this experience. So many divine feminines walk this path, caught between hope and heartbreak, wondering if the energy they give will ever be enough. But what if the very act of giving is what's pushing him further away? In today's video on Spiritual Universe, we're diving into the most powerful energetic shift you can make right now. The decision to stop chasing the masculine, not just physically, but spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. You'll understand how even subtle thoughts, daydreams, or soul-level prayers can keep you locked in an unbalanced dynamic. This isn't about giving up on your connection. It's about finally stepping back into your sovereignty so your energy becomes magnetic rather than desperate. We're going to show you how to anchor into your divine essence and allow the chase to end, not by force, but by inner alignment. By the end of this video, you won't just understand the importance of surrender, you'll embody it. You'll feel what it means to stop leaking energy and start reclaiming your divine power. You'll learn how to energetically release the masculine in a way that invites him to rise rather than run. This sacred act of stopping the chase is not weakness, it's mastery. And when you shift, the whole journey begins to transform. This isn't just information, it's initiation. So, stay with us, beautiful soul. Your inner reunion begins here. Like, share, and subscribe to Spiritual Universe, and let this be the moment everything starts to change. Section 1. Stop energetically chasing the masculine. Energetic chasing is one of the most misunderstood dynamics on the twin flame journey. It doesn't always appear as texting, calling, or physically pursuing your counterpart. More often, it's far more subtle, hidden beneath layers of thoughts, emotions, intentions, and spiritual offerings. When you find yourself constantly thinking about the divine masculine, sending him love and healing energy, praying for his transformation, or fantasizing about union, you're engaging in energetic chasing. Even though your heart means well, your energy is unintentionally reaching for him, pulling at him, surrounding him. And that can feel overwhelming to someone who is still navigating deep inner turmoil. This isn't about blame. He doesn't run from you. He runs from the intensity of what your energy awakens within him. Your thoughts, your longing, your emotions stir up the shadows he's not yet ready to face. Because twin flames are not separate in the way soulmates are. You are two aspects of the same energetic field. And when one side of that field becomes overly active, when the feminine is constantly projecting energy, it creates imbalance. That imbalance feels like pressure to the masculine, and pressure causes retreat. He may not understand why he feels uneasy or why he's pulling away, but energetically, he is responding to a wave that he can't control. The more you push your energy toward him, no matter how spiritually or lovingly, the more it disrupts the natural timing of his own process. He needs space to unravel, to awaken, to come to clarity, not through your guidance, but through his own soul's remembrance. The most powerful thing the divine feminine can do is pause. Reclaim that energy and redirect it inward. Let your focus be your own healing, your own expansion, your own peace, not as a strategy to lure him back, but as a sacred act of self-respect and divine trust. When you choose stillness over obsession, surrender over control, presence over projection, you send a signal through the shared soul bond. I trust you. I trust this journey. And I trust myself. This is not passivity. This is power. The moment you stop energetically chasing the masculine, you create space. Space for him to feel, to miss, to awaken, and to choose. In your silence, he will hear the echo of your soul. In your calm, he will feel the call of home. If this message resonates with your heart, take a moment to breathe it in. Let it settle in your soul. The act of pulling back your energy is not rejection, it is redirection, a sacred offering of trust to the universe and to yourself. Before we move forward into the next layer of this journey, I invite you to reflect. Have you been energetically chasing without realizing it? What shifted for you after hearing this truth? Share your thoughts in the comments below, or simply type, "I choose energetic peace" as your affirmation. And if this insight moved you, please like the video. It helps this message reach others walking the same path. Let's continue together, step by step, as we uncover the deeper wisdom of this sacred connection. Section 2. Allowing the masculine to run and fall, a sacred act of trust. There comes a moment on the twin flame journey when the most loving, powerful thing the divine feminine can do is to step back and let the masculine run, not from bitterness, not from punishment, but from a higher place of spiritual trust. This may feel counterintuitive, especially when your soul aches for closeness or reconciliation. But allowing him to run is not an act of abandonment, it is an act of sacred detachment. It is the wisdom of knowing that growth sometimes requires solitude, pain, and even collapse. The masculine must be given the freedom to fall, to stumble through his own illusions, and to awaken not because you pulled him forward, but because his own soul called him to rise. Often, this process involves repeated cycles of avoidance, confusion, or even denial. But each time he falls, he meets a deeper layer of truth. Each fall breaks another illusion, and each illusion shattered brings him closer to his essence. Yet if you continue to chase, whether through obsessive thoughts, emotional longing, fantasies, or even prayers sent out of fear, you begin to drain your own sacred energy. You start leaking your power towards someone who is not yet ready to hold it. And the more you focus on him, the less you remain rooted in yourself. That focus, though well-intentioned, becomes a form of energetic pressure. And what does pressure do? It makes him run even faster. This is why energetic chasing creates a painful loop. It causes anxiety in the masculine, confusion in the feminine, and a repeated pattern of separation. But when you redirect your attention inward, something powerful happens. Your energy begins to return to its rightful place, your own field, your own body, your own soul. And that shift doesn't go unnoticed. The masculine feels it too. You see, where your attention goes, your energy flows. And when that energy is anchored in your own healing, your own embodiment, your own light, it no longer pushes, it magnetizes. You become a living embodiment of wholeness. And in that wholeness, the masculine is no longer being chased. He is being invited, not by demand, but by resonance. Letting him run is not weakness, it is wisdom. Letting him fall is not rejection, it is grace. And in your stillness, in your decision to hold the frequency of love without chasing, you become the mirror that reflects his own truth back to him. The journey to union does not begin with chasing. It begins with alignment. And in that alignment, everything starts to change. Section 3. Alchemizing the rising feminine energy, awakening into divine sovereignty. As the divine feminine, your sacred task is to harness and alchemize the rising Kundalini energy that now stirs within you. This energy is not random, nor is it merely emotional. It is a powerful spiritual activation. It signals that you are being summoned to step fully into your power, your truth, and your divine light. The awakening you feel is not just for a romantic reunion. It is part of a much greater calling, a double mission. Yes, the twin flame journey is about sacred connection, but it is also about aligning with your soul's highest purpose. This purpose was never something you had to find outside of yourself. It has always been encoded within your being. waiting to be remembered, awakened, and lived. As your Kundalini rises, it clears blockages, dissolves illusions, and ignites the fire of transformation. You are being asked to evolve, not for him, not for the promise of union, but for your soul's destiny. This journey isn't about waiting to be completed by another. It is about the continual rebirth of your most authentic self. Each time you shed a layer of doubt, fear, or identity built on external validation, you return closer to your essence. Each trigger, each heartbreak, each moment of surrender becomes an invitation to rise higher and dig deeper. You are not just healing, you are becoming. In this sacred alchemy, your energy begins to shift. You become less reactive, more radiant. You move from longing to embodiment, from pain to power, from confusion to clarity. And in doing so, you activate not just yourself, but the entire energetic field between you and your divine masculine. For when you rise, he feels it. When you shift, he is stirred. When you come home to yourself, he is reminded of where he belongs. This is the real magic of the feminine path. Not passivity, but power. Not waiting, but awakening. Your sovereignty is your magnetism. And the more you embody your truth, the more you align with everything that is meant for you. This is the gift and the challenge of alchemizing the rising feminine energy. To stop searching outward and begin living inward. Because everything you are seeking is already within you, and always has been. Imagine a woman named Alina. For years she believed her purpose was tied to reuniting with her divine masculine. She spent countless nights in meditation, visualizing their union, praying for his return, and pouring her energy into the connection. But the more she focused on him, the more she felt drained, disconnected from herself, and unsure of her path. Then, one day, something shifted. Instead of chasing a future that wasn't yet ready, Alina turned inward. She began to create, to dance, to speak her truth, and to explore her spiritual gifts. She followed the quiet whispers of her soul and launched a healing practice that had been sitting dormant in her heart. Her energy began to glow. She no longer lived for someone else's return, she lived for her soul's expansion. And it was in that embodiment, that deep return to herself, that her masculine finally began to feel her in a new way, not as someone waiting, but as someone rising. Alina didn't just alchemize her pain, she transformed it into power. And in doing so, she became the very magnet for the love and life she once thought she had to chase. Section 4. Coming into Divine Sovereignty. There comes a moment on this sacred journey when you are called to rise, not in reaction to the other, not in pursuit of union, but in reverence for yourself. This is the moment of true divine sovereignty. It's the point where the endless cycle of waiting, hoping, and energetically chasing must come to an end. Not out of bitterness, not out of anger, but out of deep, spiritual maturity and self-respect. You must learn to stand in your own light, rooted in your wholeness, anchored in your truth. This is the path of sacred self-inquiry, a journey where every step, every decision, every offering must come from alignment with your soul. Ask yourself with honesty and tenderness, is this action nourishing my soul? Is it honoring my sacred path? Is it aligned with the higher self I am becoming? If the answer is no, then that is your invitation, not to push harder, but to pause, to breathe, to redirect your energy back into your own being, where your true power lives. Because when you stop chasing, something extraordinary happens. The frantic energy of lack transforms into the quiet confidence of magnetism. You no longer try to force outcomes or manipulate timelines. Instead, you begin to embody a powerful frequency, the frequency of truth, of trust, of inner union. And this frequency is what your divine masculine truly responds to. Not the energy of pursuit, but the presence of alignment. When you are sovereign, you are irresistible, not because you are trying to be, but because you are fully and authentically you, whole, radiant, untethered. And from that space, you naturally attract not only your counterpart, but every divine reflection that mirrors your worth. This is not about detachment from love. It is about devotion to self-love, sacred boundaries, and honoring your soul above all. So, stand tall in your sovereignty. Let your energy speak louder than your words. You are not here to chase love. You are here to be love. And that changes everything. If you've made it this far, it means your soul is ready for deeper truth. You are no longer content with surface answers. You are seeking alignment, healing, and embodiment. Take a moment to reflect. Where in your life have you been giving away your power in the name of love? What would it look like to reclaim that energy and return it to yourself? We would love to hear your story. Share your reflections in the comments below, or simply type, "I choose my divine sovereignty," as a powerful affirmation to anchor your truth. Your words matter, your journey matters, and by speaking it into existence, you inspire others to rise with you. Section 5. The magnetic frequency of union. There is a sacred power that lives within you, a magnetic frequency that does not chase, cling, or control, but effortlessly draws your divine counterpart toward you through its radiant truth. Unlike the energy of neediness, fear, or desperation, frequencies that repel and recreate cycles of separation, this higher state of being operates from alignment, sovereignty, and soulful surrender. It's the silent, unshakable current that tells the universe, "I am already whole." You'll know you've activated this frequency when something subtle but powerful shifts inside you. The longing quiets, the ache softens, the obsession dissolves. No longer are you reaching out from a void or begging the connection to validate your worth. Instead, you are anchored in your essence, grounded in your light, and content in your presence. You still love, but you no longer seek to possess. You still feel, but the craving has transformed into calm knowing. This is the vibration of spiritual maturity, the kind that speaks without words, that draws your masculine not through force, but through flow. And in this vibration, you trust. Not passively, but actively. You trust the timing, the detours, the delays. You trust that what is truly yours, written in the stars and etched into the soul, cannot be lost. You understand that your counterpart may still run, but even in his running, he is orbiting your light, being magnetized not by your effort, but by your embodiment. The paradox is this: the moment you stop needing union is the moment it begins aligning. The less you demand it, the more space it has to arrive. You are no longer trying to get to him. You are simply becoming the version of yourself that no longer feels incomplete without him. And that version of you, in her fullness, is irresistible. She's the embodiment of union itself. Because union was never about getting to the other. It was always about returning to yourself. This is the sacred frequency where miracles unfold, where timelines collapse, where masculine energy responds not to pressure, but to peace. And in that peace, he begins to remember who he truly is, and who you have always been to him. Beloved soul, this is your divine invitation. More than just a reminder, it is a turning point, a call to stop seeking externally what can only be found within. You were never meant to chase love, healing, or alignment outside of yourself. You were always meant to rise in your own light, to return to the center of your own power, and to become the embodiment of the love you desire. This journey asks more of you, yes, but it also promises more. More peace, more clarity, more sovereignty. The moment you stop pouring your energy into fear, longing, or control, something sacred begins to happen. You shift, you rise, and in that rising, you send out a frequency that calls back what is divinely yours, not through force, but through effortless resonance. When you and your counterpart are both anchored in wholeness, the universe responds not to your pain, but to your power. If you feel called to dive deeper, know that you are not alone. We are here, holding sacred space through live sessions and community support as we journey through themes of surrender, energetic detox, and divine balance. But let this be clear. This is not about bypassing or spiritual fantasy. This is about embodied truth. It is about becoming the feminine force that draws union through frequency, not force, through presence, not pursuit, through being, not needing. So I invite you now, stand tall, breathe deep, and claim your light. If this message awakened something within you, affirm it in the comments below by writing, "I now reclaim my energy and stand in my sacred power." Let these words become a vow, a declaration, a return. And if you feel this message may help someone else on the path, please like this video, share it, and invite others to watch the next message linked below. Because when one soul rises, we all rise. And you, dear one, are lighting the way.